Tuning you in now to the LBX Show with your host, Brandon Wiley. Brought to you by the LBX Collective, your community to connect, engage, and inspire.
All right. Well, welcome everybody to the LBX Show. This is the show for November 9th, 2025, and it is a fully packed show for you today. We're going to dive into a really brief news you should know because we have so much else to cover. We're going to roll right into a guest gab with Susan DeBottis. She's the VP of Adventure and Entertainment from Easol, which is an experience commerce platform. They've been longtime listeners of the LBX Show, and so we're excited to have them, have her on, and we're going to discuss brand alignment and the importance of group sales for social entertainment venues. Then we're going to roll right into the first of two arcade corners. Yes, that's right. There's two arcade corners with Adam Pratt. This first one, he dives into some of the amusement news leading up to IAAPA Expo, some of the releases, and he's going to go through the new Intergame magazine issue that came out for IAAPA Expo. And then we're going to jump into a robust open and shut with Kevin Williams, obviously to review the latest openings and closing trends from the last week. And then we're going to hear from Adam Pratt again with the second arcade corner as he covers more new releases showcased at IAAPA Expo in just 1 week. It's coming up. It's almost here, guys. I'm so excited. Finally, we're going to close out with promo pro tips, Chuck DeMonte, and he's going to discuss Black Friday promotions and how to make the most out of this time, because that's also coming up, right? So you come right out of IAAPA Expo into Thanksgiving, into Black Friday. If you're not prepared, if you're not doing that now, you need to get on it, and he's going to discuss on how to do that. So that being said, let's dive into some news you should know. All right. Yes, we have IAAPA Expo coming up, and I'm excited because the LBX Collective Speakeasy is returning Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 4:30 in the afternoon till like 5:30, probably till 6, till the end of the show floor that day. We're going to have our Speakeasy open. It's at booth 4402. That is where the LBX Collective booth is, 4402. And look, it's a lot of fun. We hide out inside the banner, the backdrop of the LBX Collective booth. Thereby being the Speakeasy. So you slip in there and we'll have unlimited Negronis, pouring, old fashions, and then our very own popular Galaxy cocktail. So definitely come by, hang out, see who's coming, who's swinging by. It'll be a different crew every day, and it's just a blast. So 4:30, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in the LBX Collective booth, 4402. Gotta be there. All right, the last thing for news you should know, and that's it. We're going to talk about. I want to talk about the Give Kids the World charity events. So there is a golf tournament on Sunday. It's not something that I participate in, but you can scan this QR code here or go to gktw.org. That's Give Kids the World, right? gktw.org, and learn more about that and sign up for the golf tournament. Or you can do the 1K walk or 5K run with me on Thursday morning at Footprints for the Heart at the actual Give Kids the World Village. And the same thing, you scan this QR code on the right, and I guess it's on the right, yeah, on the right, and then that's the one that you can sign up for and actually join the LBX Collective team. And anything you want to, your ticket fee, your race fee, as well as any additional donations, it all goes directly to Give Kids the World Village, which is basically they provide cost-free vacations for children battling critical illnesses. They partner very closely with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And so they're just an amazing organization and absolutely love what they do. So that is our news you should know. Coming up right after this, we've got our guest gab. Intercard is the only cashless system designed, developed, and manufactured all under one roof. They introduced cashless technology to the amusement industry and have been leading the way for over 30 years. Cashless systems from Intercard increase customer spending, guest satisfaction, and boost revenues by up to 30%. Intercard is so proud to be serving the amusement industry, and if you aren't already part of their global family of customers, they hope you will become one soon. All right. Well, Susan, welcome to Guest Gab on the LBX Show. It's good to have you here.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Really excited. Long time listener. So excited to be here.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, so tell us a little bit about Easol first, and then we'll kick into some other topics here.
Yeah, that sounds great. So we're relatively new in the entertainment space, but at its core, Easol is what we like to call an experience commerce platform. So we are helping experience creators with their website, all of their online booking, and all of their group sales management at its core through the technology and then through our team as well. And so we have a team of people that really work hands-on to help experience creators identify opportunities to really grow their revenues and improve operations.
Yeah, that's awesome. And when you talk about experiences, I know originally I think it started on like concerts and concert venues and those things, and then just fairly recently moved into location-based entertainment and I think primarily the social entertainment space, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah. So Easol's been around for a number of years. Actually, back in 2017, the original founders of Easol, who are still in charge of leading the business today, were festival creators. And they just recognized that there wasn't great technology to be able to support what they wanted to do in their business. So they decided to create their own, got some traction with that, and so have been really successful in the festivals music space, destination festivals. And then a couple of years ago, looked at the business as we expanded into adventure travel, and then ultimately, most recently, with entertainment. So we work with businesses like Swingers, Crazy Golf, and Hijingo, which is an experience out in the UK through State of Play, really focusing in on entertainment businesses and location-based entertainment around that. Social entertainment is definitely our sweet spot.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I mean, we recently actually just a couple of shows ago talked about Hijingo on one of our open and shuts. It was a new one that was opening up. I'm like, oh man, I haven't seen that experience before. Definitely want to check it out. It's a really, really unique social experience. And when you look at, so like, first of all, I want to actually talk quickly about what adventure travel is. So like, I'm just because I'm curious, like, what is adventure travel? I don't even know.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So adventure travel being more of like multi-day experiences. So, going to a wellness retreat or a multi-day experience with, sightseeing out throughout different destinations in Europe and things like that. There's actually, from a technology perspective, there's quite a bit of similarities with destination music festivals. So that was the first extension in the space.
Yeah. Well, I find it interesting too that you made the shift to the social entertainment side. But then at the same time, I also think like, well, you're maybe doing adventure travel with other people. You're going to, events with other people. And so obviously this is where like the group sales, group booking stuff comes into play from that angle. And then, I mean, it's obviously super important to have that type of functionality, especially built into your site for a social entertainment venue.
Yeah. There's a lot of similarities, interestingly enough, I would say, when you think about adventure travel and then with social entertainment, it's very, I would say, via inquiries and a lot of back and forth. And you've got social entertainment has large corporate groups, adventure travel, there maybe individuals or small groups that are traveling, but the purchase price is usually pretty high for these. And so a lot of that interaction is handled through a lot of back and forth guest communication. So there was already a foundation really for Easol in that way. And then we really identified that, this aspect of social entertainment is so important. We're talking with businesses that they do, 50% or more of their total revenues is coming through, corporate, social entertainment, larger groups, bookings that are coming through the holidays and throughout the year. And there's not really great tools in place to help manage that in a way that you've got full visibility of all of your inventory. So oftentimes you're having to manage that separate than what's happening through your website or individual bookings. And so you're flipping back and forth with systems, which is not only annoying, but it actually just limits your ability to maximize the yield in the venue. If you're having to sort of earmark reserve spaces versus having real-time availability, complete visibility on all of the inventory that you have available, actually gives a lot more confidence where you could take group bookings and put them online through your website. So we've seen businesses that have started with, only allowing up to 10 people to book online. And then slowly they increase that because they get more confidence to really understand what they can do without the touch of a salesperson. So the salespeople then can focus on larger opportunities that are really never going to be something that are booked online, or maybe it doesn't make sense because you want to do some negotiation or there's, special requests and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing about group sales that a lot of family entertainment centers, location-based entertainment, not even just social entertainment so much, they sometimes forget or don't realize that they need to actually have somebody dedicated to that type of sales position because they're used to party booking. So like online party booking, it's like a mom or a dad going on like booking to eight kids or whatever for a party, and like that can be handled online for the most part. Although I would also argue if you really want to maximize your upsells, you should be having somebody call and like actually managing that transaction all the way through to finish. But group sales even more so because there are so many different unique requests that come in. Group sizes are sometimes much larger. And so you really do need that human component to it. But one of the things you mentioned is a word that is not used very often in the LBE industry. And I think as we move more into social entertainment, it should be because it's the inventory word. So you called it inventory. And I think, again, because the old family entertainment center model, it's like, hey, we have this max capacity. And as long as we are bringing in as many people as possible, it's this max capacity. Or, you're going to buy session times. And as long as we don't, oversell all of our session times, you're going to go and you're going to jump on a trampoline or whatever for 2 hours and then be done. Well, when you've got a social entertainment venue, there's typically, anyway, bays or things that are like dedicated areas that can only hold so much. And like that is what we should really be thinking of as that inventory that you're selling and have available.
Yeah, absolutely. I come from the hotel space actually originally. And, the idea of revenue management, yield management, because you're dealing with, perishable inventory, it's very, very common terminology. And there's a lot of tooling that supports businesses in, the hotel space, hospitality space, be able to really maximize that yield. But it is something that I think is very new, given social entertainment, generally speaking, is relatively new as well. And we find businesses all the time are thinking about these questions, making a million decisions all the time around just the operations. And then it's just that next level of like, okay, well, now I've got to think about, maximizing yield and inventory management. And how do I make sure that I'm maximizing the occupancy in the space, but also getting the best revenue coming through for that space at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and what I like as well is that you've got the ability to have, I think you just said like a single view into all of the inventory that's available. That is sometimes, like it is disconnected, and you often will have this issue where the group sales doesn't know what the regular walk-ins are doing or what the smaller parties are doing, and so you end up with conflict sometimes. And this happens even at birthday parties. You end up with conflicts like, hey, well, I had this birthday party booked at the same time. And like, oh no, the special room is not available now because the inventory and the systems didn't talk to each other.
Yeah.
So having those, being able to communicate. And so knowing as I'm the group salesperson behind the scenes, I'm able to just know with confidence that what I'm selling is actually truly available for that time. And that when I sell it, it's now going to come out of the inventory available for the general public or for those that are booking directly online. For that space. And it's all about that first touch guest experience. And I think this is where I hammer on this all the time with the alignment of brand and alignment of guest experience online and having that match the guest experience you have inside. I think so many venues really care about their look and their feel and their staff and everything else. Like they treat that location and that experience as their baby, and then really do a subpar experience online. And I think those two really have to match.
I totally agree. I think that there's so much investment that goes into these concepts. They're so creative. It requires so much capital behind to just get the operations running. And any social entertainment business knows that they really have to nail the in-venue experience to get people not just coming the first time, but get them coming back again and again and again. And the digital presence is the first impression. It's an opportunity to really set the tone. And oftentimes where I think technology has sort of failed these businesses is that it's just been a complete disconnect from actually the branded experience that these concepts are trying to deliver. So it's really common to click on book now and then get sent over into a separate environment where you lose all the branding. Not only do you lose all the branding, but you start to lose the tracking as well. And so you can't necessarily have a singular view of all of the traffic that's coming to your site and exactly what's happening. So there's commercial implications of that experience too. But I think from a brand perspective, they're spending on branding agencies, right? They're spending on, marketing agencies. And so to have this beautifully designed website, and then the last mile is into now an environment that you can't control that is unbranded. It's we see that a lot, and it's one of the things that we've really focused on, bridging that gap so you don't have a disconnected experience between your website and actually your booking experience. And there's so much fun that can be had, I think, in social entertainment online as well. Like the idea is entertainment. Like the creative things that you can do on your website to draw people in, you can create a digital experience in and of itself. That people are visiting your website, coming to your website just to see what's new, and then drawing people in that way back again to your venues.
Yeah. And the really good brands do that, right? I mean, so, I take like Hijinks Hotel, for example. They're Fun Lab out of Australia. Like they just do a fantastic job with their type of online experiences that they do. They do Holy Moly, Hijinks Hotel, like, and so online experiences match the type of in-person, in-venue experiences you have. And it's not just from the fact that they have really good imagery, good photos, like good photos of their food, good photos of like people having fun, kind of witty, creative approaches to the text that's there and their 404 pages and everything else. Like they really think through that. And I think all of those things are important, but also like their overall, experience on the website leading up to, like you talked about, that last mile is thought through very carefully. And I think that's something that we often don't pay enough attention to, is that, again, I like that term, that last mile of the web experience before you're going to come actually in the door.
Yeah. And, I think especially with some of the social entertainment concepts that are trying to branch out into multiple units, multiple locations, or even getting into franchising, if you're not landing that well, like, things start to fall apart. It's so important to have that consistency. And I think the digital experience really drives that and sets that tone.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this has been a really, really great time hanging out, talking a little bit about Easol, getting to know you, getting to know that product, but also just talking about social entertainment and stuff. So it's been awesome. And looking forward to the next time have you on Guest Gab.
Awesome. Thanks so much. It's been great.
All right, Susan. See you next time. All right. Well, we are going to roll right into the first arcade corner with Adam Pratt.
Greetings, it's Adam with Arcade Heroes for the Arcade Corner. I hope that you all had a safe and very happy Halloween, and that you didn't engorge yourselves too much on your kids' Halloween candy. In my instance, my kids generally are more just into the experience of it more than they are the candy, at least, which is good for their teeth and their guts, at least. But anyways, now that it's November, that means it's IAAPA time. And with IAAPA time means lots and lots and lots of news. Oftentimes, I guess speaking of gorging or overindulging, we get so much news that it can be a little hard to track. And so I'll see what I can do within the realm of all of this. But as a part of that, and ignoring the overindulgence or the gorging of how many tabs I have open on the screen, we all do that. It's first world problems these days. But Intergame Online has launched their IAAPA issue, and that includes various ads that are showcasing different products that will be at the show, as well as specific previews to what different manufacturers are bringing to the show. And so we'll cover these as best I can within our little time frame here. But one of the things I wanted to first talk about were these very interesting games from Dark Escape Games that are going to debut at the AVS Companies booth. They're a distributor, and they're going to be over on the west end of the Games and Arcade Pavilion area. So not the west, or sorry, I guess that is the west side of the convention center. And okay, I got that wrong. They're on the east side of the Games and Arcade Pavilion, which is on the west side of the show floor, if that makes any sense. I think it's booth 1918, somewhere around there. They're on the opposite side of where Adrenaline Amusements will be. Anyways, they have this Dark Escape Games is launching what looks to be like arcade-sized escape rooms, so that's something that could go into a small venue. I'm still not 100% sure how they'll work. I mean, it seems like it's almost something like the size of a photo booth that you step into and then you need to escape within a certain amount of time, which is pretty innovative. Of course, we'll have to see how that works in practice. And I am curious if they've tested these out at all and seen what kind of earnings that they have. But still, when I heard about that, it's pretty cool. It does say 5-minute immersive story adventures, self-resetting and staff-free with easy maintenance, deliver nonstop guest engagement, high throughput, lasting profitability, and all in just 20 square feet. So maybe a little bit larger than a photo booth. But just as long, I assume if you're an arcade operator like me, the only thing that might come to mind is please don't let these be dens of iniquity, like environmental cabinets can be. But let's keep scrolling through here. And you got some other news popping up. Amusement Source International. I know that it's bounced around what product, how many of the products they're going to have. I've seen as high as 20. This issue is saying 11. I know there has to be some variance there to allow for shipping delays, so that last year that caused a few problems at ASI as well as at Amusement Expo, where they wanted to have a particular game there to showcase, but it didn't arrive in time. But either way, they will have quite a few new games, and I think they have 3 booth spaces that they're looking to fill out. And so that'll have redemption games, videmption games, video games, a whole slew of stuff that will be available at great prices, so that you can put some stuff into your venues if you are looking for that stuff. There's a lot of little bits of news here in this issue. And speaking of Amusement Source International, here's an ad showing a little bit more what they got. Rooster and Bro was one of the games that they were supposed to have at Amusement Expo in Vegas earlier this year. But it'll be there this time. Eunice is also going to have quite a few new games available, and so that will be also a pretty packed booth. They recently announced Monster Jet Riders, a new racing game. They announced a new dinosaur racing game. I think they might have this giant trackball, like this thing is it's like a beach ball size controller, and that's been at some different shows recently, including one in Europe, I think the ACOS over in London. And just sorry, I wasn't sure if something there from Sega. I actually hadn't looked through this beforehand very much, a little bit, but not entirely. So I'm just watch me thumb through an issue of an online magazine, right? But I know there was supposed to be a preview of a Sega video game here, and unless I skipped over it, And it looks like I might have. Let's jump back to the first page. And here we go. And so for Sega's ad, I'd seen this on test not long ago, the Putt-It Party, and it came in a very different cabinet, but this looks like it's combining the idea of an alley bowler, better known as skee ball, with a putting game, and it has a video screen and everything. The location test versions did not look quite this nice. It was obviously an early prototype, but that looks pretty cool, pretty innovative as well. And golf has never been as popular, I would say. And a single player version of the Hypercross, obviously you could still link those up. I'm surprised they don't have the DX on there, and that will be there. That's been shipping here in the United States, and it's been getting a lot of attention as it's been showing up at not just Round 1 USA, but some other venues as well. They'll have their Alpha Ops VR Strike, which has been out for a little bit. They're also carrying the Sub Soccer Arcade. They've got a new Simon Arcade ball toss redemption game and a standard version of Apex Rebels. But the one that is definitely perking some interest is the Daytona Championship USA Motion, which, as you can see from the design there, it is actually reusing or reskinned the Apex Rebels Deluxe cabinet, and so you'll have the motion base there. There was a motion version of Daytona Championship USA that came out, I think 2018 or so, and that was the Super Deluxe model, but it was huge, very expensive, and not very many venues picked that up, and so looks like this is going to be aiming to get that game into more venues. No clue at this point if it comes with any new content. I think that would be cool, especially if they were able to, say, remaster a stage or two from Daytona USA 2 or even Scud Racer. Just add something else in there to make it stand out from the versions that might be out there already, or make it stand out a little bit more. And now I had mentioned Raw Thrills earlier on and wanted to focus on them specifically, just because they did announce some new games this week, or this previous week, such as what you see here, Jackpot Racer, Race to Win Tickets, and a new version of Godzilla Kaiju Wars, which I think I mentioned briefly in our GTI Asia China coverage. But let's hop over. Let's see, where are they at in the slider? There's a new software update available for Angry Birds Boom as well, which adds a leaderboard. Let's hop over to Godzilla Kaiju Wars Deluxe, as they're calling it. And so this gets rid of the VR headsets, but it also changes the gameplay. Obviously, the gameplay was going to need some adjustment because in a VR game, it allows you to look around wherever you want, whereas this has to make sure that the action is always focused on whatever is attacking you or whatever you need to be shooting in the instance of a light gun game. And let's pop this up and put it on mute so that it doesn't ding anything on copyright. But yeah, still has the two 65-inch 4K screens, but they now have added a lot of extra content to each stage. They haven't increased the number of stages. There's still 5, where they say it's 5 plus a boss battle. It's really 6 levels. It's just the last level is nothing but fighting giant kaiju, Godzilla, and I think another one there. But now there's just more to do during the levels. And so as it was explained to me by Raw Thrills, it's somewhere around twice as long of a game. So instead of being about 15 to 17 minutes, you're looking at 30 to 36 minutes-ish, which actually puts it in line with something like Aliens Armageddon that they did back in 2013, or Jurassic Park Arcade. And so yeah, could this be the next Jurassic Park arcade? I think so, just because how good the gameplay is on the VR version. I think turning it into this model is something that I've been wanting to see since they first announced the game. And so I'm happy to see that. The pricing is above a Fast and Furious Deluxe, Fast and Furious Arcade Deluxe system. And so those were retailing for somewhere around 25,000. It sounded like it'd be between that and maybe 30, but I guess it depends on your distributors. You can ask them. And also, as I mentioned in this trailer, they've added a redemption mode to that, as that's all the rage right now. Although I imagine with a redemption mode, it's more just same gameplay. It's not like a specialized redemption mode that would be super short, like say Space Invaders Frenzy, but instead just you win tickets depending on your score is my assumption there. And so that will begin shipping out December time. That's when production hits. And need to bring up the other brand new game. This one is not been unveiled previously, and this is Jackpot Racer. And speaking of redemption, this one is designed specifically for redemption play. And so what it is it's essentially Superbikes 3, but you have 4 tracks, and the tracks are shorter. They're about a minute 15 seconds long. And within these quick races, the entire goal is to beat the Jackpot Racer, as it says there. So that's a computer-controlled opponent. And so they will probably be difficult to beat, because you wouldn't want the players winning the jackpot every single time, especially if it's a big ticket jackpot, unless you put it down low to like 50 or something. But that's up to the operator. But that's what you do. You race, and it's short, and you have to beat that Jackpot Racer to win the big jackpot. Where I am a little bit surprised that they use that term, just because I know for most redemption games they've shied away from using the term jackpot and instead say bonus or mega bonus or super bonus. But super bonus racer doesn't really roll off the tongue very well. Sounds weird. Or just bonus racer also just sounds a little bizarre. But here are shots of the 4 tracks. That kind of pinkish character there, that's the Jackpot Racer that you have to beat. I guess you could call it an AI controlled player. But yeah, that is now in production, and also comes in at a price around pretty much the same as Superbikes 3. But if you want the giant marquee and the LED display to detail what the jackpot is, you need to buy 2 of them at once, which either comes in yellow and orange. They don't have more colors than that available. You can link up to 8 of them. And so that is there for redemption play. But that pretty much wraps up what we've got to cover this time. Of course, with IAAPA soon upon us, we got a lot more to cover. X Arcadia just announced shipping for a new fighting game called Chaos Code Next, and they've actually offered a bundle where they're offering the first game along with the second game, both the first and second games together there, which I don't recall them doing before. And they'll be at IAAPA with a lot of other stuff. But we'll have so much more to cover here in the coming weeks. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next Arcade Corner.
Power up your game floor with Arcades by Alan One. Whether it's perfectly pouring drinks in Dr. Pepper Soda Slam, grabbing official Butts on Things plushies, or defending cities from attack and missile command recharge, Alan One has something for every venue and arcade floor that will delight your guests. Each game is also enhanced with Major League Esports, a free app that tracks player top scores and brings guests back to your venue for more. Visit allen-one.com to learn more. That's allen-one.com. All right. Well, so much going on and so much to see at IAAPA already. And that's just the first Arcade Corner. So, but before we got the next one coming up, we're going to do some open and shut with Kevin Williams.
Well, hello everyone to the latest Open and Shut. I hope I find you well. Brandon?
Oh yeah, very well, very well. So ready to I mean, there's so much going on still. It's crazy.
It is crazy, and that's, I suppose, something that I'm going to have to face, aren't I? My crystal ball was definitely a little bit murky when it came to that observation. So as you can see, we've seemed to be back to what I would have said were March and April numbers that we had seen from facility openings, and there are new as well as established names still rolling through. But anyway, you know the process. Pause if I zip past too quickly, but the first one out the gate, a difficult one for me here to hunt down. I was led to believe that this is in the Tokyo Tower, famous tourist and central location in Tokyo. And the only entertainment facility there is the red multi-level mule entertainment space. And then we got a report through that Oculeap had opened a VR laser tag experience. And, unless they've built it outside of the building or in one of the retail units at the bottom, we have to assume that this one's been installed in the tower facility.
Yeah.
Moving. Sorry.
Well, no, it's okay. I mean, it just seems like they just had some space, some real estate space, and they needed to throw something in there. I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot of thought was given to exactly to what this was going to be and what the overall experience was.
Yeah, I was speaking to someone recently about the Japanese, especially the Tokyo VR market, and they were very dismissive, saying, that it is an unusual market and it doesn't really give a reflection of what the global VR entertainment market situation is like. But, again, if I'm given this type of information, I'm going to comment on it. Second free roaming arena installation, new one that's opened up in Tokyo in the last few months. So they're obviously feeling that there is an opportunity here. Moving on, and we have been seeing the growth in immersive experiences. When we say immersive experiences, we're talking mainly for projection or marriage of live actors and projection immersion type experiences. We saw that with the Minecraft experience, and this latest one, again, based on a video game, again using real actors, live actors. Again, it is using immersive touchscreen and projection mapping kinds of experiences, and again, it's being controlled by Fever. So I think we really are seeing this as a pattern for that transmedia crossover, where a consumer game developer's marketing budget can be thrown at a phygital experience.
Yeah, I definitely want to go check this out. I'm a big D&D fan myself, and so would love to go and actually have this experience, but also just really want to see how they have the mixed media integrated into everything. So, it's one thing to put in live actors, but then to have all the different touchscreens and projection mapping and, live interaction. I really want to see how they pull it together. Fever, look, they're as an operator, they're a great operator. They still have some work to go when it comes to creating experiences, but this is obviously not created by Fever, but rather just operated by them.
Yeah, they're the overarching operators rather than the content creators. And you're quite right. Sometimes it can be hit and miss which company they pick or studio they pick to do these. But again, hopefully the crowded Texas market will get a report back. Another French installation, another French development that went under my radar a little bit here. I suddenly found out about 1055. I've been trying to do a little bit more research into the company, as they have 7 facilities now dotted around France. They have the usual mix of a bit of bowling, a bit of social darts. They have the quiz room experience, which you find with most of the French and German facilities. The mules, they usually include a quiz rather than a laser tag for various reasons, karaoke. But this one does have a laser tag, and this one also does have a lot more amusement. I need to get someone on the ground there to have a look or I need to go for a drive next time I'm in Europe down to this particular facility. But it is the growth of this kind of adult entertainment experience across the territory.
I think the one thing that stands out to me is the addition of the quiz games. And I'm on their site here, and unfortunately, it's not translating for me right now to English. But I'm on the quiz game section. But I was just trying to see who the platform provider is. If it's Game of 1,000 Boxes, or if it's something they developed themselves, or they franchise something internally. But,
it's not clear in the website. No.
Yeah, no, it's not. You can't. There's not very many pictures that would actually give away the provider, because look, the only one that I know of that is deploying a like out of the box for inside of an FEC quiz game system is Game of 1,000 Boxes. There are other brands that exist, but they tend to be more standalone, where you go and visit Game Show Battle Room, for example, is one of those. But that's like a standalone experience. They have a couple of rooms, and it's very different than just a quiz game that's set up inside of an FEC.
Okay, so I jumped to our database, and I can tell you from the European perspective, there's about over 10 European quiz platforms, and they come in three flavors. They come in the, as you say, the standalone facility-based turnkey approach, but there's products like Cube, which is, I think, a Scandinavian company who do a digital quiz game as well as an escape game system.
I was familiar with the escape game system, the Cube escape game version. I didn't know that they did a quiz game.
Yeah, they just all they did, they turned those screens into a giant quiz screen platform. It's one of the contents, and there's other companies, but they are very hit or miss. They onesies, twosies of installations compared to the Game of 1,000 Boxes and stuff like that. Bonkers, one on our radar, 4 facilities. They're going around the territories of Saudi Arabia and the UAE, installing their facility. It is pivoting away from the children kind of active entertainment facility to adding a lot more amusement and attractions, though this Riyadh facility seems to be following the usual format. Time Zone, celebrating their 70th installation in India. I believe that this is actually the TEEG India operation celebrating their 88th installation, rather than the Time Zone operation as a whole in Australia, Singapore, Vietnam, and all of that. Again, the press release suffered a little bit from translation error. The issues here, going into a mall, proven formats, bish bash bosh. And that's how they get to 70. They seem to have really cookie cutted it well. And from the continued growth, I would assume that they know their audience very well in that diaspora. The Time Zone operation has also been pushing in Australia. My database tells me that there are over 300 facilities. And again, their winning formula seems to be rolling out the constant mix. Though I am interested with the time zones in Australia, they're going for more and more attractions, the bowling, the laser tag, the bumper cars, the VR experiences, with the amusement not being as prevalent and maybe more focused on redemption products.
I think the one thing that they've done well, for having 350 facilities, and look, guess Chuck E. Cheese is doing the same thing. But they are definitely evolving their design, their aesthetic. They've kept their logo the same for a long time, which is, they haven't really evolved that. But the interior and fit out has definitely evolved to stay current with the times.
Yes, they went through an update to their branding 2 years ago. I think I'm correct. They're definitely coming out of the pandemic and all of that. They shook themselves down, readdressed, represented themselves. Their layout, their branding has gone through that, and I think they're sticking with that. And 303 facilities can't be wrong. A new one, a project coming out of Stealth. Our friends at Rivals Social is really, it is what it says on the front of the tin. It is going to be a competitive socializing entertainment facility. They came out of stealth mode a couple of months ago and have been teasing pictures of what they're doing, but they seem to have gone for the proven formula. They have augmented reality darts. They have the arena system from Conductor Game Vaults. They have AR, or what I would call mixed reality bowling systems using the Spark system. So, and they will be proving that they also have some other off-the-shelf competitive socializing products. It'll be interesting to see what the final fit out of this stealth facility looks like, and I think we'll be hearing a lot more about this near the end of the year.
Do we know, is this actually do we know the ownership group here? Because it seems like this is a conductor, basically a conductor showcase. I mean, it almost has everything in it. It is
a showroom for a company, but I'm not sure if that company has revealed their involvement yet. So yeah, I would say watch this space.
Well, and the reason I just am even skeptical of or I'm not skeptical, but curious is, first of all, there is another company out of the UK that is developing augmented reality mini golf game called Social Rivals, as you know, and we've talked about this before, whether it was on Sound Off or on Open and Shut, I can't remember. And the logos, there's some similarity even in the logos that we pointed out between the two. So you have Rivals Social opening up an actual venue, and then you have Social Rivals, who is the manufacturer of projection mapped mini golf games. And so anyway, it just seems like if this is Conductor doing some of this work, it is definitely a shot across Social Rivals' bow in trying to basically establish themselves in both branding and in a physical presence.
I didn't mean to be so cryptic with the slide by not including developed by. It's just that I did remove it at the last minute when it was made clear to me.
Yeah. It does look like you're developed by.
Yeah. Delete, and I didn't go the whole hog. We will. I think after IAAPA, I'll be in a better position to give a rundown. Hopefully by then I will have visited the site as well. But K1, and then we jump to our friends at Flight Club. Up to 27 facilities now internationally. Their latest one in Newcastle. I think this is a addition to the Newcastle area, because there is also some other competitive socializing operations there, as well as in Leeds around the UK. But they're celebrating 10 years in business, and we will be touching upon some I think we've already touched upon some developments that have hit the owner of the operation as they have improved their management team and turned to new investment. So I think the machine keeps on trucking here.
Yeah.
And then finally, semi-finally, we have Strike R, again, one that appeared out of nowhere on my search engine when I was doing some research, based in the Netherlands, and it is both a new facility and the launch of a new entertainment concept. So move over mini golf. Now let's use your feet to play football adventure golf. It looks interesting. I wonder how it plays. I haven't got that much information about this other than the new facility and that the company has entered the market. I'm going to try and throw one of our sources in Netherlands to actually get some video of it in action, because I just want to see what multiple people trying not to totally welly the ball, kick the ball into around the facility, but trying to do very detailed football shooting action to get it into the hole, and how that will kind of work itself out with the target audience that they're looking for.
Yeah, this one's interesting because here is they must have done like an initial concept launch in outdoors, because the one you're showing obviously is an indoor version, so like probably much more of a social entertainment venue they're trying to make out of this. This is done so you can see just here's a version of the outdoor. So it's interesting. This one obviously is themed to more align with the nature theme, where the other one is much more like, again, that social entertainment vibe. I'm always open and interested in discovering or seeing new use cases here. I do worry though that, like, I know what my kids do when we go when they used to do when they were younger, when we went mini golfing, and they would just like wind up and just crank that ball as hard as they can, and the ball goes flying and bouncing. I could see kids coming up and just trying to just crush that ball. And there's not a lot of the berms aren't that high, so you have to be really careful and with your touches that you are doing with the football. But it is interesting, right?
To be blunt, I wasn't interested in the outdoor version for obvious reasons, because it isn't a 100% original concept for an outdoor variant of football. I saw one many moons ago that used a mini ball, semi-solid ball, where you kicked it around rather than used a golf club. But I was more interested in the indoor variant of the system, which I think is on a different page.
I was trying to find the indoor version, but it's developed by this leisure group, the Store Leisure Concepts group. But interesting.
Moving on to the last, and we talked about the pop-up, immersive, phygital experiences, and one of the things we've touched upon in Sound Off is how our friends at Merlin Entertainments have been expanding their rollout of their own proprietary products and trying to establish, kind of their own rolling attraction kind of experiences. And Wondar has just opened up in Illinois, and it is what it is. I've seen the website obviously, but I've also been looking at a walkthrough video that an influencer set up, and I didn't have Wondar. It looks like a standard projection mapped Gossamer and phygital experience. No MR glasses, so maybe a good thing. No, only joking. But the interactivity seems limited, and the experience does seem high priced. Funny enough, our friends at Fever are operating it, but Fever and Merlin have always had a very close.
Yeah, I always find it interesting when Fever is operating, when that's really what Merlin is known for, is their operations. But, look, they are also not known for doing these types of really small location-based entertainment experiences. So I think it will be interesting to see how Merlin succeeds or fails here, because this is their first foray really into like a small footprint, experiential location-based entertainment experience. And that is... we'll see. Fever at least knows how to operate those.
And it's interesting that they've launched this in America, where you would have expected maybe Merlin to have maybe put some training wheels on this in a UK opening. I think there's a lot going on here, and in the post Lego Discovery Zone market for Merlin, they have a lot to prove that they can do this type of thing. Moving on, and to the news in the markets and the changes, the shakes-ups, the mergers, the acquisitions, and all of that stuff. And our friends at Oxygen have acquired the ownership and the rights to Ninja Warrior UK, which is a TV series, which then migrated into creating facilities. And they have 5 ninja courses, what you would have expect from a ninja course based on the TV show, timing, lots of activities, lots of skill and physical involvement. Perfect mix for a company that's in the trampoline and active play market, a logical acquisition. And our friends Oxygen now move into 18 facilities. And I'm sure this is not the only new opening we're going to be hearing from them. One, just putting my battered Disney hat on, I was always interested when Disney steps into a space that's been run by another company to see how well the Disney Magic, the Pixie Dusters, can actually handle the bricks and mortar and the control of a business. In Disney Springs, we'd always had within just outside the Disney Resort. There was always a very successful Starbucks. Well, surprise, surprise, that success Disney raised its heckles to, and one day the Starbucks was gone, and then suddenly Disney-run coffee facility opened up. And this is part of a 80 million food hall development. Disney ushered out the original proprietors of the food hall and the coffee suppliers from Starbucks and all of that, and they replaced it with their operation, and it's closing after just under 12 months.
Ooh.
If you can't sell coffee to park and entertainment goers, then you really do need to look very closely at your navel to see what's going on there. I thought I'd bring that up. Coffee for many people is entertainment. If you've got a Saudi Arabian facility, I was always led to believe that they were a license to print money. Well, it seems that one of the larger of the parks that's been going for about 40 years in that neck of the woods has decided to close down. No information on the reason behind the closure, but within this territory, information about failure is always monitored quite closely, and it doesn't usually appear in the circles that I move in. Whether this is going to be acquired by a larger corporation or whether the space is going to be redeveloped, I can't say. But again, it's now on our watch list to find out exactly why Happy Lands has gone after 40 years of business.
This one is certainly super surprising. I mean, you just don't, again, hear something like this that has this type of legacy shutting down in a place like like Saudi Arabia. I mean, this is what they are trying. They're trying to diversify. And when you have something that's been around in theory successfully for 40 years, it doesn't seem like it's something you shut down unless there's something that they intend to use the land for that they expect to drive even more revenue.
We will watch this space with interest. And if you've got 3 million burning a hole in your pocket, there's another UK facility up for sale. This was another surprise. Again, been going for some time. Opened up in the 60s, nearly as old as me. The facility. When I first saw this, I was thinking, oh, have we talked about this one before? But no, another UK old venue that seems to, doesn't even have a proper web page, to be honest. And suddenly the local media is reporting that they're going to be closing down and also up for sale. Again, we'll keep an eye on this, but I think it is, a sign of the times. We've reported on this, especially this year, a number of occasions of this kind of Wales or UK middle northern kind of entertainment facility, just finding it this is too difficult a market for mom and pops, and you really have to be professional about it. This is not saying that the market is hurting. On the contrary, new facilities are opening up, major investments are being made, and we're seeing some very strong returns for 2025 tickets. But the smaller venues off the beaten track that maybe don't have the marketing budget and the social media chops are getting the chop.
Yeah, we've seen so many of these that really in the last year of this type of like small regional amusement park targeting kids 14 and under, kids and obviously families with those kids. Yes. Just we've seen so many of these things either going up for sale or just shutting down permanently, and many of them have been around for that 39 to 65 year mark. And it's definitely is something to be watching more closely, especially if there's one in your area or you are an operator of one in a regional area that really relies on your local community, because they don't seem to be doing well and are certainly not sustainable.
I would, if I was running a regional, I would be, going through the process of doing a market evaluation and an overview to make sure that you're not whole below the waterline, or you're about to have a surprise regarding There's nothing wrong with running a regional entertainment facility in this market, unless, but again, we're talking about older facilities and maybe family groups are given offers maybe to move on, or they see one facility put itself up for sale and they think that they can make a killing. But I would say that 3 million seems a low kind of bid for something of this size and leniency. But anyway, and again, you have your entertainment facility in a large complex, and then suddenly you wake up and you find out that your complex is for sale. The owners of the Battersea Power Station are very swish redevelopment. It took a long time to be redeveloped. Many decades went past for the derelict site to be turned into a hub of social entertainment, retail, dining, cinema inside there, and a number of competitive socializing entertainments. Bounce, for example, has an operation inside there. Our friends at DNA VR have a facility within the complex. And now they are about to have a brand new owner of tenancy ownership. And you know what that means, strong possibility of your rent going up. So again, the issues of being a franchise operation within someone else's space.
Yeah, one of the biggest concerns here is that they obviously cancel leases, not even just raising rent, but they may have a decision that they want something different. They want a different mix of hospitality, entertainment, food, etc. in their space. It's now theirs, and they can choose to not renew your lease or just cancel it, depending on the terms that you have put in there. So it is definitely, and one of these ownership changes is always something to watch, and you want to be very careful when you're signing those leases that you have the ability that lease is assigned, to the new owner, that you continue to have that lease. A lot of these buyers of these leases, they want those longer term leases. It's part of the reason why they're doing it, because they want that consistent income. But sometimes they have a different vision on what they want their new property to reflect.
It is the sword of Damocles over your head when you sign those leases, but sometimes the foot traffic is seen to be worth the risk. I went to the launch of the Bounce ping pong social entertainment facility in there. I still scratch my head how Bounce fits into the competitive socializing market, but they seem to still be opening facilities and still rocking along. So we will have to wait and see how the dust settles here. And then Pinstripes. Remember Pinstripes? Well, we were promised that no facilities would close, and we were promised that staff would keep their jobs, and we were promised that the moon was made of cheese. Well, sadly, we now find out through some of the local media, journalists are doing a little bit more digging, that a number of these sites are closing. To be blunt, only 8 facilities of the 18 are going to survive from the Pinstripes operation so far, and we're watching very closely those 8 to see if they are just going to be the outliers for the next major restructure. Anyway, this particular facility, South Barrington, only 18 years it's been going. Well, only, but 18 years. It's established itself. It was a going concern as far as we know, other than the problems inherent with the brand. But yep, it's being shuttered along with another 10. And then we're going to be learning a lot more, I think, in the next few weeks with the new situation following the Chapter 11.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't want to be the one to pick up these guys, but we'll see how it all turns out for them. This is what we've been calling for a long time.
Yeah, I hope to have a funny story in a couple of weeks to talk about this, but I feel for the people that are losing their jobs, but I also hope that their experience means that they can parachute into one of the other facilities that are doing guns. Anyway, we've zipped through another large selection. If you've got any information that you want to pass on, or if you want to correct me on any of the multiple mistakes I'm sure I've made, please drop us an email or contact us through LinkedIn. And please keep up with the latest issues of both the Stinger Report and the Entertainment Social Arena.
Awesome. All right. Well, we will see you on the next one.
Have a good one, everyone.
If
a location-based entertainment brand and want to attract more visitors? Check out Radius. They use real-time location data and customized marketing strategies to help brands like yours stand out. Radius can boost your foot traffic and build a loyal customer base. Plus, they're offering a complimentary local market analysis to show you exactly how they can help you grow. Curious? Visit radius.co and ask about your free market analysis. That's RAYDIUS.co.
All right. Well, that was a great open and shut. Next up, we've got the second Arcade Corner with Adam Pratt as we dive into some more IAAPA Expo planned releases.
Hey everybody, it's Adam with Arcade Heroes for the Arcade Corner this week of November the 9th, the calm before the storm, so to speak, the week before IAAPA 2025. And as I record this, things are getting spicy as far as flights go, so hopefully I actually make it, because I'm not driving 33 hours to get to Orlando in the event that I can't fly in. But assuming everything will work out, and for those, or if it doesn't, for those who actually still make it to the show, this has been a very, very, very busy week this past week as far as new equipment has been announced. And there's more that I won't be able to get into here. So let's just jump into it and see what I can get done in our allotted time. First off, as you see here, apologies for the lousy PDF slideshow here, but Touch Magic has 3 games that they're going to introduce at the show. And what's interesting is with these, they've moved away from any sort of video screen. In the past, they've always done a lot of stuff with that, and they've done some innovative things at times with projection mapping. But these are all pure electromechanical redemption games with the treasure chest where you're dropping pinballs, and that actually it was at IAAPA last year. Pickleball Toss, which is based on the Carnival Midway games. And then Boxed Up is actually a merchandiser where it's like a forklift themed merchandiser where you're trying to get the either small or large prizes there. And next up, Sega was very, very busy this week. They've done a kind of a staggered release of their news, and they have a lot of different redemption items there, lots of cranes. That's a little bit of the theme that's going on, plenty of cranes because of all the claw arcades or clawcades that are popping up out there. But they have more than claws, fortunately. Putt It Party is an innovative blend of mini golf, putting, and alley bowlers, better known as skee ball. Not every alley bowler is skee ball. Skee ball is the brand. It's kind of like calling every tablet an iPad sort of thing. But either way, this one you get to putt into the targets there. It goes up the little ramp and you try and get it into the targets that are set up just like an alley bowler. Has a video screen, 6 different characters. Now, they sell these in twin units, so it comes with 2 stations each. And so you can, as the photo shows there, link up 3 of them to have a maximum of 6 players. I imagine that's what they'll have at the show. Also has a micro LED billboard on the top. And so just overall looks pretty neat, and I'm sure it'll be played a lot, and I'll be giving it a try myself. Also, they announced Simon Arcade based on the Simon Says toy with Hasbro, and they got the license and everything. It's a ball toss game, and you're supposed to toss the balls into the lit up targets to win points. Maybe kind of sort of like the tic-tac-toe basketball or tic-shack-toe, maybe that was, but without the basketball component, but going for certain targets there is where I'm thinking. And then on Friday morning, they announced the Daytona Championship USA is coming back with a new model. And this is it's still called Daytona Championship USA, but it'll be the Motion Deluxe version. Years ago, Sega did do a Super Deluxe version of this game, which had some motion on it. It used a pivot motion system, which Sega Showdown Super Deluxe had also used, where it's more of kind of a sliding motion. But it wasn't a full like hydraulic or electromotor or the air bladder motion system. Whereas what is being used here, these are the same cabinets that was used with their Apex Rebels. And so if you played that deluxe version, the motion would be the same as what you get there, just applied to Daytona. And as far as I'm aware, the software is the latest that Sega had developed for the game, which was the new season edition, which featured better handling as well as graphics improvements and things of that nature, which unfortunately not everybody gave a chance. I saw plenty of players out there where they played an earlier version of it, which wasn't as good, and they just kind of wrote it off and never gave it another chance, whereas they should have, at least with the new season edition, as it did improve on things quite a bit. And then we learned about this game at the bottom here, the motorcycle game Speed Rider 4DX. Now, Sega had initially put out a release saying that they were carrying the game. However, they kind of just quietly removed it. And it turns out that they picked it up for European distribution, and then Bandai Namco Amusements has picked it up for North American distribution. And so this will be at the Bandai Namco Amusements booth. So far, with all the previews I've seen from Intergame as well as Replay Magazine, haven't heard of anything else that Bandai Namco is bringing there. They won't have Resident Evil Arcade, the Resident Evil 2 arcade game that was seen on test earlier this year, unless there was just some sort of big surprise that they were holding back. But given that that's not going to be happening probably for another year, it's just probably not happening. Apologies about the bird, which I used to not have a bird on the stream here, but can't really tell a bird to shut up. They don't listen. Team Play, they've announced a new Ghostbusters wheel game where it appears to me that it's not actually spinning, where they still have the curved display with the different LED panels. And so it's just like, say, the other digital rollers out there like Monopoly Roll and Go or Wizard of Oz, where it has a display, but instead of putting, like, say, two LCD TVs next to each other, there's all the LED panels like you would see in the Carnival wheel. And so I assume that would help on cost with this one, as well as the size. Comes with two of them like that, has mini games built into it, although it isn't clear how those work exactly. And redesigned handle lever compared to what was used in Carnival wheel for better reliability, I would assume. And just, yeah, has licensed Ghostbusters stuff, which seems to be one of those licenses that spans the generations. Some things younger kids don't care about at all whatsoever. There's plenty of things that I could tell you that my kids just don't care about that I grew up with. And I think that's where sometimes the arcade industry keeps missing the target, or like Hollywood keeps missing the target. Like recently, Tron was a major bomb for Disney. And part of that, it comes down to, it's just, there's no appeal to Generation Alpha or Generation Z with these properties that were something in the 80s. For most of the time. But Ghostbusters is one of those that seems to have been able to get around that problem, I guess. Anyway, is rant over. We don't have enough time to be ranting, right? Atari Pong, the electromechanical units are coming back thanks to Alan One and Atari. And so they will have home units, which include the stools, as you see there. These are very limited in quantity. They're supposed to be shipping in time for Christmas. There will be one at IAAPA at the LM1 booth. And then they've mentioned that they will be bringing out a commercial version, but there aren't any details on that yet as to how that will look, if it'll be the same thing that Unis released or which model of the Unis ones it might be and such. But I've actually had people on my own channels before asking, hey, have you heard about those Atari Pong coffee tables? And it's like, until now I hadn't, but now they're available. LAI Games also released a bit of information this past week as to what's coming to their booth. You have Phantom Vanguard Modern Combat, which is a Gameloft game. And so this was seen at GTI Asia China Expo, where it debuted, and it puts, I think that's 285-inch screens, might be 275 or 65-inch screens that are vertically mounted next to each other to create kind of a 1x1, or maybe that's a 5x4 aspect ratio. But this light gun game has an interesting, innovative change to it where the guns, you can holster them, and when they are holstered or mounted, they act as heavy artillery in the game, and when you pull them out and use them as free guns, they act as a machine gun. And so it changes the mode, but I think the game will tell you when to put the gun into the holster there. And also sort of a gun game, but also driving gun hybrid mix with VR is the Ubisoft All Stars VR, which has various Ubisoft characters blended into it with a unique experience designed just for arcades, and 3 different ride levels, but it's all interactive. And so if you recall, LAI Games pioneered things with the virtual Rabbids concept, but that one wasn't interactive except for there was some slight interactivity added with a later update. But this has actual control, and the controller is a mounted item that's almost seems like a yoke / mounted gun sort of thing that's supposed to give you a more full control over the scenes that you're encountering there. They also have a new version of Kaiju Rampage called Kaiju Rampage Unite, which offers up to 4 players as an upright game and has pistols instead of the mounted guns. Kaiju Rampage debuted last year at IAAPA in the Environmental Deluxe cabinet. I thought the effects on the mounted guns themselves was pretty neat with all the LEDs that they had in there, but these pistols would be a little bit different. But I assume that the gameplay would be mostly the same. I mean, sometimes you do have to make some adjustments there when you're changing the format of the hardware and everything. But they'll also have a new coin pusher called Cube Clash, which has been designed in conjunction with a Chinese company that has done a lot of their other coin pushers. And then they also have a new concept, I think this is out of India, called Hypergrid, where it has an interactive LED squares that are on both the floor and the walls, and a variety of mini games there. So that'll be interesting to see. Definitely one for the FECs on that side. And then looks like I was able to rush through and get everything here. It says this is our last item, and that would be The Walking Dead Remastered was announced this week. And always surprises me when companies like Stern and such, or pinball companies, can't make Halloween. It seems like that would be the best time to announce a horror-themed one. There's another company out there called Spooky Pinball. They call themselves Boutique Pinball, which is a fancy way of saying they're an independent or smaller pinball manufacturer, where they also have teased Beetlejuice pinball machine. What's interesting about that Beetlejuice one is that it's apparently voice activated, so you actually have to say Beetlejuice, 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 and then it does something in the game, which is pretty neat. And I guess speaking of that, voice activated stuff is making a comeback of some sort. I mean, we've seen them in there have been a few things here and there with voice activation in arcades, but not usually. But not sure how well this might show up. Looks like it's not going to show up at all on my, oh, there we go. Smart Industries also has this new redemption game where kids are supposed to scream into the giant ear, where I can see that, but I see one side that's pretty innovative. On the other side, it's like, I wonder how many operators want to have incentivize kids screaming. But that is a neat little concept. It's called Scream and Win Champion, I think, or Champion Scream and Win. And that'll be at the Smart Industries booth. But anyways, that was another sidetrack tangent. So Walking Dead Remastered. This is a remaster of the 2014 Walking Dead that Stern did. And so I've seen some people really complaining about the colors on this one, some not happy with the layout. Personally, from the video that you can find out there on Stern's YouTube channel, I thought it looked fine to me. And I know this was a highly rated pinball machine. And so with new hardware and such, it seems like a pretty good IP to be going with, as it's also one of those that's relevant to most people these days. Zombies never seem to die, right? Never seem to go out of style. But that's our mini IAAPA preview. Expect even more this next week, as we'll be right on at IAAPA's door next time, and be plenty to be talking about for the coming month or two after this show, I would imagine. But thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next Arcade Corner.
Hello and welcome to Promo Pro Tips with Chuck DeMonte. That is me. And on today's segment, I want to discuss Black Friday. It is coming up. Hopefully you'll see this video in time to potentially help you create some promotions. But obviously it was a big promo day, not just for retail and e-commerce and stuff like that. It's people are looking and ready to spend money and looking for deals, right? So how can FECs make the most out of this, time when customers are ready to buy, right? They're trying to buy for, their holidays and get discounts, and people are just trained to purchase at this time. Okay. So how do you make this the most successful as possible? I think you want to start off with, what's your objective? What are you trying to accomplish? Right? Do you want to get more birthday bookings? Do you want to get more members? Do you want to get, what is it that you were trying to accomplish? You could create something that'll move the needle with that objective, right? So that's first and foremost, really understand what's going to move the needle. And you obviously want to keep it something in mind that, that consumers are going to be interested in, right? It needs to be value. People are used to having really deep discounts and really big value on Black Friday, right? So how can you help create that? Okay. So first and foremost, find out what you want to promote, find out what that discount is, right? And so, again, it could be discount off birthday bookings, discount off arcade cards, right? The gift cards are very common. When you buy 100, you get an extra $50, right? That is a very, very common thing, especially because people like to use those things as stocking stuffers, right? And buy them for gifts for their kids, their friends, family, their nieces, nephews, whatever, right? So find something that has a lot of value, okay? And get creative here. And you don't necessarily want to give away too much. It's really cool to figure out ways to add value on while still getting, a lot of the keeping this sort of core offer of what you offer, not discounted too much, right? So for maybe birthdays, it's like you add extra food for free, or you add extra jumpers for free. So you're really still keeping the value there, okay? And not discounting what you offer tremendously, right? So, gift cards, membership promos, birthday promos, right? All that type of stuff. Keep it limited to a certain time. Make sure you want to get these people to come back and use it as soon as possible, right? And get them in there and then upsell them, whatever, right? So really important to focus on what the deal is. And again, add value. Don't discount your core offer too much. Try and add more value to it. So people go, oh, that's a great deal, right? It was $400 for only X, Y, and Z, but now it's $400 for, all these other things included, right? So find ways you can add value that have a perceived value increase, right? But maybe don't cost you as much to deliver it, okay? So I try and find what that looks like. Now, once you have sort of the offer and you know what it is, start promoting it as early and often as possible. It has become very common now. Black Friday isn't just Black Friday anymore. It starts 2 weeks early, right? And goes all the way to the end of November, right? So figure out what's a good time frame for you to run it, right? And again, you want to get there early. The more, people have a limited amount of dollars to spend, right? So the earlier you can get this and get them spending dollars with you, then they're not spending dollars with a competitor or somewhere else, right? So promote it early and often. Again, I would suggest promoting it, even a week or 2 weeks even before Black Friday, right? That's what a lot of people are doing now. So you kind of just got to go with what the competition is doing and what other people are doing. So again, because it's a limited marketing dollar, limited consumer spend, right? So you want to get some of those dollars they're going to be spending. So again, promote it early and often. Where do you want to promote it? Make sure you have your normal channels, right? It's nothing crazy. Email, SMS, meta ads, organic content. You could even do on Google ads, right? Do like a call out extension, right? So you want to make sure you're promoting it on all those channels and aggressively promote it a lot, right? You need to cut through all the noise, right? Don't be afraid to over promote this. You want this to be a big revenue day for you, right? A big revenue month because of, for all the deals you have going on. So don't be afraid to over promote it, right? Really important, in-park signage, right? Make sure you have in-park signage everywhere and that people know what the deals are coming up. And even if you don't want to promote the full deal, maybe even tease it, start teasing it now, right? Like, hey, keep an eye out. Black Friday deals launching on November 14th, right? Or whatever it is. So keep that, keep that momentum going, right? And keep people, hopefully waiting to see what the offer is, right? So again, promote it early and often as much as you possibly can, okay? I would also make it look as nice as possible. Make it very simple to understand what the offer is, very simple to redeem the offer, okay? You got to think about the operations piece of this. So again, figure out what your objective is and what's going to move the needle and what you want to increase and do in your business. Start promoting it early and often, right? Tease it out, promote it early, go on all your channels, your email, your SMS, your meta, your organic, right? Your in-store signage. Please do not forget in-store signage, okay? And then figure out, how do you make it run smoothly and easily, right? If somebody tries to redeem their offer and it's just a very complicated, not user-friendly process, it's going to impact your sales, right? And then again, try and create as much value with the actual offer as possible without discounting too much, right? Really make perceived value really high. So get out there, promote your Black Friday ads, make it a huge, huge month. And if you have any questions, you could always reach out to me.
All right. Well, that was, I told you, going to be a packed show, and it was. But you know what? We've got another packed show next week, along with another special guest, Gab, that we'll obviously announce at the beginning of the show. And then Sound Off number 98 with Kevin Williams is this Tuesday, November 11th. So make sure to capture number 98. We'll have number 99 the week of IAAPA, and then the big 100. Very excited about that coming up. And we've got some plans for that. So anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and just wrap this shit up. So we get a wrap for this week's LBX show. I'm Brandon Wiley signing off. Stay tuned and keep kicking.